Greetings, Dota fans, and welcome back to another tour of DPC action from Eastern Europe. As we saw there, all the melee creeps getting into battle to try and capture the flag as we get into some more beautiful Dota 2 action. Joined by Waga this time around for the whole season. Gonna be an exciting time. In Waga, we've just had a new patch as well. So many things are happening.
It is so great, man. First day of the new patch. We get to watch some professional games here. I played with some of these guys earlier today in pubs here as well. So it will be exciting to see exactly what the pros are going to break down from this new patch. How much do you adapt? You know, they haven't had time to cook here. This is just completely fresh. The patch is out and brought some interesting changes.
Yeah, I mean, what's the first things that stand out to you that you want to share anyway? Because I know you've got a couple of things in your back pocket that you'll wait to see happen.
I think for me, like, Invoker got a pretty big buff for Quas-Wex Invoker. Overall, Invoker is stronger. I think Shaker is a lot stronger. Those two are two that I'm really looking towards. And Medusa shouldn't be as, overpowered anymore. She did get nerfed quite a bit.
Thankfully. Thankfully. We'll see if it's enough of a nerf, whether she's still first ban material, as we saw at the Berlin Major, of course. Yeah, I mean, Universal Heroes getting some changes as well. We might see them in action. Early days here as we get ourselves into our first series, as we will take a look at HYDRA up against Nemiga. Nemiga coming up from Division 2, undefeated in series wins. They went 7-0, weren't really touched by anybody. And HYDRA, by the skin of their teeth, stayed in Division 1. And we were looking at the odds, going into this. You could see on the break screen, Nemiga are quite heavily favored going into this, but we'll find out how things pan out. Drafts, very important. Get yourselves in a good position. And as we're always saying, in the DPC, really just cannot be stated enough. Every game matters. Every victory really matters. You get a series win here, gets you into, snowball momentum, get yourself into hype mode, get a couple more victories here and there. But if you get losses early on, you suddenly start thinking, well, the best we can do is middle of the table now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of prize money immediately on the line, but of course, there's also DPC points that can have a huge implication for, your potential to take part of majors, go to TI. This is every single game matters. You're absolutely right. And for this matchup between HYDRA and Nemiga, I'm excited to see which team comes in more prepared here, to take this first series here for them.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a draft for us unfolding already, and a couple of picks and bans already coming through, as we can probably shift over to that and see what we're contending with Nemiga taking on HYDRA. And I guess no surprises really thinking about this Medusa, even though she did get nerfed a little bit. She is still first phase banned, and this often feels the case when we have these patches. Like, okay, you read through them and you think about the changes here and there, but until you've experienced and felt how things have actually changed, you kind of want to keep things the same. Like, my mind always goes back to 5-6 years ago, maybe even more, when we had these Drow Ranger strats, and even though they'd get nerfed, the immediate day after the patch, team would still play Drow Ranger strats because they knew how they felt to play. That going through the motions of it still felt the same.
Yeah, I think a lot of value is in comfort, right? That's why we see as well here HYDRA gonna go for the Doom as we get into the draft. The Doom, another hero that was a little bit nerfed. The Devour gives less gold on low levels now, and also the build-up of Crimson Guard. The Vanguard is a little bit worse now, and Doom loves going for that Vanguard disassemble into Octarine down the road. Vanguard is a little bit weaker, the damage block, but I don't think that will have a great impact. I think the big nerf to Vanguard is the Crimson Guard upgrade is worse now, which Doom doesn't necessarily have to go. He can just go Octarine. So it makes sense that they still go for that. But I'm curious to see if they will have a good answer for this Doom coming out from Nemiga here. Or for Nemiga, rather.
Yeah, straight up TB pick as well. Kotl TB is it's honestly funny to see this come back. As what was it? We did a tournament in the JD Studios, Lootbet Winter Masters with ePulse, where Nemiga were looking incredibly strong. They were one of the best Eastern European CIS teams out there back then, maybe top 3. Behind,
we're doing the chakra abuse for meta.
They're one of the first teams that really showed us, maybe not the first team to do it, but really show us as spectators, viewers, and casters the real abuse of this TB metamorphosis. The real ulti on the hero being cooldown reduced by the chakra constantly, and it's always real cool to have the additional fact that Kotl can hold waves. When TB wants to go jungle, Kotl can just take the gap, sit in the pocket, and defend towers, farm himself.
Yeah, the two heroes have a very interesting way of synergizing super well. It doesn't sound that good, like Coddle TB, but the more you read into it and the more you understand it, it's actually a very potent 1-2 combo. Like you said, holding the tower and keeping it alive as long as possible is very valuable. And in this patch, there are more jungle camps. Heroes like Terrorblade who can disappear into a jungle, they have a lot of space to thrive and then come out with a lot of items. So that's why we've seen heroes like Alchemist as well be quite effective in this current patch, though he also got nerfed, so maybe we won't see his face too much.
It also gives you a draft identity as well, right? You're kind of building the draft around this Terrorblade or this TB Kotl, so you know that his item timings are going to be the most important. His idea of when he's strong and when he wants to be pushing objectives is the most important. So you just need, you know, a confident player on the TB to be shot calling and 20 minutes in saying, hey, team, I'm ready. Rally around me. We'll go take towers, kill Roshan, do whatever we need to do. And it's just that element of giving him the space in the prior 20 minutes to get to that stage. So HYDRA, they've got to think of a way of dealing with him. Like, do you want heroes to go along with the Enchantress to keep invading jungle? Because that's something she's very good at. Do you want to focus on lanes to try and bully him out? What can you aim for?
I would love to see them go for something like a Pugna type draft here, because Pugna hero that actually counters both TB and Coddle in a pretty good way. The ward is extremely good against Coddle, and meanwhile you can insta-kill illusions with the Drain, and he's a hero that can burst very quickly. A hero like TB who has so much armor, you can go for even a Dagon build up later on to just burst him before he gets Sunder off. Not really a hero that we see too much currently, but I think it would go well here with Enchantress. And they could push really hard. But they could also just feel comfortable and take the game late. Sure, TB is a good late game threat, but Doom, once he gets that Aghanim Scepter, can also just go in and deal with locking him down and preventing that Sunder from coming off. So if you have a hero that can pair up carry to carry decently, then why not take it late game still? So HYDRA, they have options open here. They don't have to go down one specific route of like, oh my god, there's a TB, we have to. No. Doom is very happy to go late game as well.
Yeah,
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, that pug. Oh my god, the techies is coming.
I love it.
Go. Talk at length about techies.
I am a techie picker. I did a 24-hour techie stream once, and I absolutely love playing this hero. And this hero has benefited a lot from the universal changes. He's become one of the hardest hitting long range heroes in the game actually right now, and while having good armor himself as well. I am curious how they want to run this, but could just be that it's going to be in the hands of Lil. But you could play this core as well if you so desire. Techies has definitely got potential to be played as a +3 or +2 nowadays. But yeah, Techies, he works fairly well against TB for the same reason that Pugna would. It's a lot of magic damage. That's what you want to load your team with. If you play against TB, do not go for physical damage output. And right now, they have great mix. They have pure damage from Doom, pure damage from Ench, a lot of magic damage from Doom too, and now Techies with that burst damage too.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And the fact that Techies and Doom and now the Batrider can all act as forms of catch as well. And if Doom does opt to go for that kind of Blink War Stomp build, and Techies with the I guess newer Blast Off, you don't need the shard anymore. You've got that innate stun built in. Great way to stay on top of the TB. But we've seen Nemiga with the double pick before the Batrider, Clockwork and Tiny, really bolstering their ability to get on top of people, catch people, and make sure that team fights start the way they want them to. You know, in an ideal situation, they'll be blinking with Tiny, scouting with Rocket Flare, getting these initiations themselves, and really protecting your TB through aggression rather than just sitting back and allowing your enemies to come to you.
Yeah, Clockwork also recently got that little buff that he has a slow on the rocket, which really helps just control people a little bit in fight. And of course, you almost never miss hook shots anymore. If you rocket someone first, they're just kind of standing still. It makes for easy pickings with that hook shot. Sometimes we saw people miss that before, but right now, it's so simple. It is a little bit awkward picking both Clockwork and Tiny, as both of them are a little bit tough to play into this
5 seconds remaining.
This lineup where you have Techies and Doom. For me, having this double melee can be risky. The good thing they get though is that they have really good disables. Look at the side of HYDRA. Yeah, they have their own stuns, like you said, the Blast Off, and they have Batrider ulti. But other than that, it's going to be like Infernal Blade and maybe a War Stomp from Doom. You know, Ench doesn't have a built-in stun. If she has a creep, that's fine. But those creeps might not live too long against Nemiga's lineup as well.
Yeah, by no means consistent. I mean, what are we looking in terms of roles here? Are we assuming like Kotl 4, Clock 5? I guess you want your Kotl with a TB?
I would probably put the Kotl
10 seconds
safe lane
remaining.
with TB, but you can Clockwork TB as well, because when TB pops meta,
5
having
seconds
Clockwork on the
remaining.
front line to lock people down with that power cogs can also be very good.
Dire team ban.
The thing is that Clockwork might not be able to do too much against the Doom, so maybe it's better to have Kotl on the safe lane together with TB. And I'm expecting this should be a mid-tiny, right? It kind of has to be when you have Clockwork as well. I guess
but
they
now
could
you
run
see
it
the
off lane,
bat.
but
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. I mean, now you see the bat. Do you want to move things around, or are you fine playing Tiny
5
into Bat
seconds.
Rider?
Radiant team pick.
Batra is very strong now with the changes he's received, but Tiny can do fine against it. So you have the benefit of being able to toss him back to his creeps if he ever tries to dive you and you have creeps nearby. And the Avalanche stun can be pretty good for protecting you when he tower dives. I don't think it's a terrible matchup, and your
10
base damage is high enough
remaining.
with the tree grab as well that you can easily deny Batrider quite a bit. I think the
5
matchup is okay.
seconds remaining.
There are worse mid matchups you could have.
Pretty solid pick there. And going into this last one, Nemiga very likely need their offlaner. You know, there's all these kind of fringe case scenarios, right, where we have like a mid Kotl and, you know, offlane Clockwork, stuff like that is like 1% possibilities. So they've got some flexibility in their draft, but we're really looking at the stock standard here. And Nemiga still need to try and round things down with offlaner.
A lot of offlaners have been removed here as well, and they have to pick into a last pick carry coming out as well here from HYDRA, so it is risky. I wonder what they're going to go for. You would love to have a generic offlaner like Batrider or Doom yourself who could lane into pretty much whatever and be fine, but now they have to be careful. If they go for something that can be punished
Dire
by,
team
say,
pick.
Monkey King. They banned Monkey earlier. Okay, then they're going to go for Underlord. Yeah, there it is.
I
So
mean,
Monkey was banned out. They did prepare a little bit for this, I guess.
Yeah, still out there is like Ursa, which can be a bit spooky. But yeah, Underlord has been undoubtedly the king of the
10
patch, king of
seconds
Berlin
remaining.
Major. Looked very good from the offlane. These portals, the
5
Fiend's Gate.
seconds remaining.
And in the Twin Gates, you've got doors everywhere, just unlocking the entire map for yourself.
It's tough. They have 45 seconds to think here. It's actually pretty hard to say what they should go for. A lot of heroes that are common popular carries right now have been removed. They banned out PL, they banned Monkey, Slark, and Void, all of which would have been great options here for them. And of course, they picked up the TB themselves. So you would like to have a hero that can provide some security for late game. If you go late, you don't want to auto lose to TB. I mean, Ursa is playable, but I'm a little bit concerned that he gets controlled by Kotl and Clockwork, Tiny, and Underlord. It seems hard for Ursa to play into this.
Yeah, not much time left. 10 seconds remaining. There's a life stealer
Choose your hero.
as the last pick.
Another hero that did get a buff here in the 33C patch. He got 5% more slow on his Ghoul Frenzy and cooldown reduction for his Rage as well. So just 5% more slow on all levels is kind of nice. It should allow him to run people down a little bit better. And of course, lanes pretty well against the Underlord and good against this triple melee that we see on Nemiga. So I think this was a wise last pick. On top of that, they can Infest Bomb with the Batrider or the Doom. So this was probably the best option.
Yeah, it can play very quickly off the back of Doom, Enchantress, Techies, Batrider. Doesn't feel like there's anything really holding them back in terms of, you know, needing a certain level or a certain item. They can fight no matter what the given circumstances of the game is currently. But before we get ourselves into game one here of this series, we do have a quick video from one of our sponsors, EGB.
Bets on esports, bets on streamers, impressive bonus system. Welcome bonus up to $600, cashback, artifacts, regular promotions, daily giveaways. Try yourself as a bookmaker. Great lines. EGB.com, more than just a bookmaker.
Yeah, so looking at the draft here for game one, are you leaning one way or the other? Because I often just tend to go for the caveman approach of team with the most stuns wins fights, wins games. But this is a little weirder for me because the team with the most stuns also has a Terrorblade and kind of feels like half their squad is playing aggressively and half is playing a bit more passively.
I think I like the HYDRA lineup more. It looks, you know, to me, I often use this word when describing drafts, but it looks harmonious to me. It looks like they have a good idea here. I think they, again, covered what I wanted them to cover, that they can go late game here. It's not terrible for them, but they also have potential to play explosive, like you said, with those gank potentials. And on Nemiga's side, it is a little bit of like, we gotta hold on. We have 4 strong fighting heroes, and then we hold on for TB to get big and carry. And he certainly can, but it's a lot of pressure to put on one hero when you're playing against a Doom. You could find yourself getting just doomed and lassoed and like everything onto the TB to control him. And then if the others can't really make up the difference, then it can be risky. Let's say the all in on one hard carry late game against the Doom.
Yeah, and how, you know, how much of the world is weighted on the tiny shoulders?
I think, yeah, he has a lot of pressure to carry the early mid game. His rotations are going to be so important on Tiny. So we'll see what Malvarine can do to, you know, organize his squad and go for those ganks. I'm also excited to see Lil here on his techies as he runs into Nemiga.
Yeah, straight into them. Swinging down bottom to get some early wards down. Toss that sentry in the large camp. Ob's ward up on the high ground. And Soban's going to prep it as well. Just get ready for the D-ward, the deny if needs be. And what I love doing is checking around on all the heroes, supports in particular, but how many blood grenades do we have? I see 2 on the Radiant. Madai has 1 on Techies, Enchantress has 1. Nice,
Yeah.
very good, very good.
You gotta have those blood grenades. They open up. I love the introduction of this item. Open up so many kills that you otherwise didn't really just quite have, and now you can commit. And I love the duality of it. You know, like, oh, it's good for killing the enemy, but you're kind of giving away 50 HP and taking 75 damage at the same time. So it hurts, but it's a good, very good tool.
I'm making a pact with the devil.
The battle
Trading his soul for a bit
begins.
more damage.
I'm also glad it doesn't work for BO3 anymore, because that was probably not a balanced idea.
With the sticky napalm?
Yeah, it worked at first, but that was
man.
quickly patched out.
I didn't know that.
It's still kind of worth, and we actually see BO3 queuing up a blood grenade in his quick buy. It's still pretty worth to have just for those dive potentials.
And just that little extra definitely helps. Oh yeah, I'm a big fan for sure. Like, I don't know, so many times in my games, I look at the shop and there's 3 in stock, and I'm like, right, I'll just buy all of them then. I'll be the one carrying 6 blood grenades 20 minutes into the game, no problem.
They stack into one inventory now, right? Or do they? I haven't had
So
multiple.
I played a couple of nights ago, and you get three per slot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you get all your HP in one slot, so kind of efficient.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, a fluffy hat, basically, if you get 3 of them. Our top lane, Enchantress ever annoying with his impetus shots, and they did decide here, Nemiga, to put the Cockle top, which leaves our TB with the Clockwork, like you said, leaving Metamorphosis with the Battery Assault, getting a bit of chip damage on the Techies and the Doom. But HYDRA down here, pretty resilient. They're going to have levels in Scorched Earth, and the Sticky Bomb Blast Off combo is a lot of magical damage, as you were alluding to during the draft, and something here Violent and Sobad have to be very careful with, which is why, you know, Sobad's job is pretty much to die or get as close to dying as possible while chipping away at your opponents and burning their regen.
Yeah, and look at Lil on that lane. The way he's been playing it, he is harassing so much, doing a ton of damage with these right clicks. Techies, you know, does really like being a universal hero now. So yeah, he's definitely controlling it quite nicely.
And there we see the odds. HYDRA, even though they were Div 1 last season, Nemiga, the ones that went undefeated in Div 2, slightly favored coming into this. And looking like potentially the better squad. So bad, getting whacked around by that Doom again in the bottom lane, and the blast off into the cogs with the sticky bomb going on the TB, allowing So bad to slip away. But yeah, I remember the days of Techies having like 43 base damage or something. Now you look at him, he's got 60 with Fairy Fires and Branches.
Not even just that, he was also like a 1 armor hero if you go far enough back. He had no damage, no armor. Now Techies is just this Chad version of his old self. He really went to the gym.
Yeah, I mean, even before Universal... well, yeah, I was going to say Universal Damage, but that's another separate topic. Universal Hero type was added in. In Ability Draft, Techies was like one of the better core models to be. Like, long range, you got the level 25, 252 damage talent. You feel real good. Incredibly strong.
Someone else feeling pretty good is probably his Underlord here, who's enjoying his CSing quite a lot here on top lane. The combination of Underlord paired up with Caudle, spamming Chakra to allow him to Firestorm more, it's a lot of magic damage. Even though Lifesteal can later on have the Rage, he doesn't have it available yet. Has to be a little bit careful.
Okay, is this normal here to go for the Blinding Light and the Chakra? Because you're just focusing on giving mana to Underlord?
I think so, but I do want to see him go back for a point in Illuminate, possibly on level 3 or 4. You could take it already on level 3, but yeah, this is pretty much what people have been doing. Blinding Light is very, very effective, but I think you need to have levels in Illuminate later on, and not just max out. So he does go Illuminate level 3. This makes me happy. Okay. I've seen way too many Caudles just max out Blinding Lights and not have any points in Illuminate, and they just feel useless.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like we were saying in the draft, part of your job is to, if things go a little badly in the laning stage, hold out on waves, defend towers. Need that Illuminate to do that. Take a peek into that mid lane as well. Malorine and Tiny, 16 and 10, plenty of denies.
Yeah, he's doing great. Malorine is really winning mid lane here. And I'm curious, man. Work, the way he's playing Batrider feels a little bit like old school Batrider to me. Because he's maxing the Sticky Napalm, which, sure, for mid lane is good. But he's not really tapping into that Firefly. He hasn't used any other ability than Sticky Napalm thus far. And he's just winning the CS by his base damage.
Yeah, because we've seen, yeah, he levels Flame Break and the Firefly now. Batrider's going in on Malorine, but the Avalanche Toss will hold him back. Yeah, Warwick couldn't keep up with him. He's going to try and go for it. Diving that tier 1 through the Blood Grenade and all the stickies at him. Tiny just wisely TPs away. Again, well done by Malorine.
Yeah, it is a little bit of damage for him, though. TPing back, he's going to miss up in here. Bottom lane, we see a bit of trading here.
And so bad up in front. Cloud taking some hefty hits here from Violent TB, and there's your first blood for the Clockwork. Might get another one as Lil falls low. A double kill out of the clock. And there's Terrorblade getting some solo experience. And if you're looking at the map, we could also see the Batrider was thinking about coming down there to help out. Instead, he's trying to grab a rune, goes back to mid, and Tanya returns to his lane.
Yeah, that feels fantastic for Violent, though, being able to just get both those kill experiences there. I'm surprised he didn't get any of the last hits on TB. Clockwork somehow managed to get both there. But this is more time that he can see us freely. Terrorblade having a pretty strong start here for himself as well. And putting points in Metamorphosis makes me feel like he wants to play the lane. He doesn't want to go into jungle early. A lot of the time we see maxing Conjure Image and head into a jungle early, but nah, he's playing for this lane and he wants to contest it. Doesn't want to just roll over and give up.
Gotta check the fight recap quickly there. Clockwork, you know, use the Blood Grenade, love to see that. Also ate a Lotus to keep that fight going a little bit longer. But now he's stuck in the cogs with 2 enemy heroes, and that wasn't a fight that he was ever going to win. Gives up his life. And again, that's kind of his job to bodyguard the TB. While up at top lane, Vazia getting hit hard. These impetus shots from Enchantress and Lifestealer with level 2 Feast and Ghoul Frenzy. Like you pointed out, no points in Rage, just going all out kill build.
Yeah, and having 20% slow instead of 15% slow, it's making a difference, man, for Kami there. Being able to chase down, of course, having Enchantress using her enchant is also quite a bit slow, so there's no moving allowed for Underlord. He does die. However, he has TP heal. Come back to the lane. But that was a pretty important kill because he was getting a very nice laning stage.
Yeah, starting to get out of control. And once he hits that Vanguard, becomes increasingly unkillable. And Kotl, he was on a bit of a journey. I think he went to grab Bounty Rune, stacked some camps. So the Keeper of the Light was getting stuff done while the Underlord was dying.
Speaking of runes, we have experienced runes. They were buffed massively in this patch. It's 7 minutes coming up, 15 seconds from now, and we see both teams... actually, yeah, both teams are going for it here. Nemiga are running after this Enchantress. They don't want to allow her to steal.
Yeah, where you going, Happy? Get out of here.
Radiant are scanning.
Meanwhile, Lil is on his side of the map, stacking Ancients. Taking his little Watcher and grabbing the Wisdom Rune there. So, who are the two lowest? I guess it's just the two supports, right? So, Ancient Techies, the victors.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and for Nemiga, though, they took it on the Underlord, so he got it, and then he passed it over to his Clockwork as well, who got some experience. But it's interesting how it works now. The lowest experience always gets part of the rune, let's say, or one rune for themselves.
That's pretty cool. Nice. It's Tiny. TP back. Just could slow things down from a little bit. Going to Falkland to Treadmill. Down the bottom again inside the cogs. Cloud's Doom. Backup is coming in the form of the Techies with a blast off on 2. He slows them down just enough for Cloud to escape. Good job.
Even the
from Will
nerfed
there.
Vanguard still blocking enough damage there for him to survive just barely. I think maybe with the old Vanguard block, you know, blocks 8 damage more per hit, he would have been in some bigger danger, but he still stayed safe.
Yeah, this tiny build, I've seen a lot of different ideas from mid-tiny players. You know, I covered a lot of South American Dota back in the day, so I was always watching Dark Mago with his phase boots tiny, loving running around, not necessarily needing the blink. What's the idea behind like treads into, I assume, blink this time from Malrine?
I like treads because you should keep in mind the movement speed for melee heroes was buffed, right? So phase boots, yeah, they're great for ganking, but in the 733 patch, melee heroes got plus 10 movement speed on power trips as well. So you don't really lose that much speed, and power trips is stronger.
Batrider making his first move, killing off Val's top, while down the bottom, Cloud getting his first Doom onto the clockwork, but it looks like he's going to die for it, and maybe it's nice here, Violent plays the clock himself. Yeah, good move top from the bat, but very well done bottom again by Nemiga.
Yeah, that was a really nice kill for him to get as well. This Terrorblade having such a great start, and Clockwork, I think it's big that he's getting these kills. Terrorblade is going to get huge just by the fact that he's allowed to farm. He's the top CSer right now, but Clock is going 3 kills in the laning stage. He's allowed to buy items here. He's going to work towards a Glimmer Cape, and he'll have it pretty early.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Malrine just like barely missed his avalanche, and then a mud golem throws a rock at Tiny. That's like the cutest thing ever.
Betrayed by his own kin.
Yeah, I think rocks can hurt me. I'm made of rock. Forged in the rock. But it's good to see a bit of adaptation here from Nemiga in particular. We had the stack changes in the most recent patch now, right? Where 30%, I believe, of the experience goes to the stacker. So Kotl, I think it's Kotl doing the majority of this. Going to get a lot of stacks for himself.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Dire as well. You see the Ancient stack being cleared here by Batrider, and there was another Ancient stack prepared as well, like you pointed out, when he took the Wisdom Rune on Lil. So I think they're really playing towards it. Even now, on this minute mark, Lil is stacking
Dire's
bottom.
middle tower is
Clockwork
under
might be
attack.
caught out here.
He tries to block them away with the cogs. He's happy just swinging this Dark Troll army from mid down to plot, really applying a lot of pressure. And so bad, it's going to get dived by the Doom. No backup in sight. Nemiga might try to turn it around. He does munch on the Lotus. Gets another cogs out. Up onto the high ground. And we do have Kotl and Tiny arriving. Batrider in a bit of no man's land. Clockwork is okay to go through the twin gate and survive.
Dire's courier
Slips
has been
away from
killed.
danger and heads up top. And it's just the courier that's dead. Batrider loses his while Tiny gets a grab onto the Doom. Tosses him into the TB. Under the tower with Kotl here. Kill the Doom off. And Cloud not having a great time. 3 deaths now to his name.
And so bad. TP's out in the corner. Even Lifesteal looking for him a little bit there. The great escape by Clockwork there. And we see the value of those Lotuses taking them. He actually stayed alive only because he had picked that earlier. So super valuable, you know, extra objective. I love these extra objectives we have in Dota now. Playing towards the Wisdom Runes, the Lotuses, the Tormentors. The map is much more interactive now.
Yeah, it felt like you'd get stuck in a rut of just hiding in trees, waiting for stuff to happen. And now, another one there on the map doing stuff. Clockwork is in onto the bat. Blown up. Warwick's gone. Underlord's arrived in a 5-man sweep through this bottom lane from Nemiga, tossing forward the TB into Cloud. They don't have any more control, though, having spent the hook shot and the Pit of Malice. But they're here with a catapult wave, clearing out this tier 1, and Underlord won't make it back. Unfortunately, too late on the portal.
So he has to TP back top, but he TPs into a Lifestealer. Can be dangerous to do so. Now you don't have TP to TP out. Lifestealer does something.
Attempt to deny, but Kami very patient.
They're going for it.
And Baron. Travel coming in. Doom is dying down bottom. Gets the Doom on the Clockwork. Lasso top looks like it's going to take down the Underlord, but then Infest and the Enchantress damage. Vazia will fall up there. Doom turns into a piggy, but the Kotl's tossed at him. Hellscream gets chucked at the Cloud. So both sides of the map, some casualties there.
Yeah, a lot of fighting here, and sort of mirrored action as well, where they get a tier 1 tower bottom on the side of Radiant, but Dire punish and take that top tier 1 tower as well by Kami just pushing it alone. So ultimately, I would say the winners here are definitely HYDRA coming out a little bit ahead. Also, the Lifestealer is having such a nice start. Going in for a Radiant is going to be his build after the Armlet.
Decent way to deal with the TB illusions, I guess.
It's decent against TB. The downside is that TB can steal the Radiance by using Reflection on you. He gets an illusion with Radiance as well. But as long as Lifestealer can rage it off, I guess, it disappears. So it's all fine.
And TB, top of the net worth, but yeah, like you're saying, Lifestealer, even the Doom not too far behind. And do you think they've done enough to address the Terrorblade in the draft? We were looking at this Lifestealer last pick as a decent tempo hero. What's the moment the HYDRA are really ready to take control of the map? Or did Nemiga have a good enough laning stage to say, hey, these towers, they're going to get defended. We're going to get a catch unhappy now. And Enchantress looks like she's going to get over the bridge. And no more catch.
Yeah, she'll just run away. I think they have some heroes. Oh, wait. Kotl is so fast, he actually catches him with a Solar Bind.
The Faded Broke Windlace Tranquil's Kotl, and so bad with a snipe out of the rocket flare.
I did not think Kotl was just gonna run up and catch him there, but he was speeding ahead. Running at 414 movement speed with broken Tranquils. Yeah, this guy is, he is the definition of speed. It's Gandalf coming in.
Yeah, Shadowfax, like the wind.
Radiant are scanning.
14 minutes coming up, the runes. We see him playing
I'm glad you're here with us. Stop watching the clock, the timings. I'm going to make sure you keep your eyes on them. Look at this. 3 heroes from HYDRA saying, no, Wisdom Rune here belongs to us. Don't you dare. While over to the left side, Warwick takes one. So they get both?
They get both, yeah.
I can't remember the numbers on it, but there were stats being done by I think Leah and Benji on Twitter where someone asked the question, it might have been Ultima asking the question of, teams taking double bounty runes at 7 and 14 minutes, how does this increase win chance? And it goes from, like 50-50 to like 63% in terms of overall win chance for the prior patch. And I wonder how much that changes now with the buffs to Wisdom runes.
Yeah,
I mean, it's even more.
It should be massive. It should be massive, and that's what we see now. The Clockwork is stuck on level 7.5, and meanwhile you have level 8.5 happily on both the sides of the HYDRA supports here. So at least Kotl is keeping up. He always has that ability to farm with Illuminate and get himself some experience when needed. But I think the later into the game that you go, the more and more important it is to get all these runes. The first one is kind of whatever. The second one is really important, and then going on from there, I think they just become increasingly important objectives.
Yeah, we had some meme discussions about everyone buying bottles and bottling up your Wisdom runes because you can hold them and have more experience because their experience is based on when you activate them rather than when
you can hold them for 90 seconds. Yeah, so you can try, but then you need to preserve it. That's the downside. In a pro game, I don't think it's gonna happen because you need to take it 90 seconds before a new one spawns. Then holding it for 1 minute doesn't do anything. You need to hit the 7-minute thresholds. Is the timing that you need to get, and then they become as powerful as the new rune.
Yeah, so I just looked it up. The win rates of teams who picked up both of the first Wisdom runes, the team that got both Wisdom runes was 39% of the games from patch 7.3.3, and it was a 63.4% win rate. It was pretty huge, even just a few weeks ago. Happy. Quick little snipe on the Enchantress. She tried to set up base camp down in that bottom lane. Did get some deep ward coverage at the very least to see where the TP is. But this now is Nemiga's time to shine. They've got Malrine with his blink on Tiny. This is where him and Hellscream are going to be roaming, creating that bit of space for the Terrorblade to farm, try and open up this map for themselves.
TB also has full Manta complete, but let's see if Malrine can connect to something here.
Yeah, the smoke broke on the Kotl, so they knew someone was high ground. Get on top of Lil. Pretty tankies though. You've been going on about his armor values. Yeah, he slides away with his Force Staff. Underlord needed, but Hellscream's gonna die to the Lifestealer.
Cannot get the burst on him. That Bracer value. Bracer and Force Staff away.
And Tiny just keeps going for more. Can't get the connection. In fast and run away. Very speedy heroes on both teams, like Bat Riding, and he's got Travels and Windlace. Kotl, unfortunately, wasn't fast enough to get away from HYDRA's response. But in the end, HYDRA give up on the top tier 1.
They do give up the control of this area, which means they might want to go take Roche, but I don't think they will. They instead get a portal down bottom. If you get a gank on this Doom, he doesn't have a blink. Yes, Crimson Guard though.
Do they have enough damage? With Malrine and Violent here with the Metamorphosis, they'll pop the Doom back in. Crimson Guard is up, 1 charges are there, but Cloud, yeah, absolutely dead with the Battery Assault addition. So bad, makes things a lot easier with that little bonus control.
That was a nice play.
Moves.
Nice play by Tiny. He actually tossed him back into TB, trying to give the most amount of time for TB to right-click, knowing that the Crimson Guard is going to make him a hard target to bring down. So instead of just doing the combo cleanly, like bursting him, he sends him back in towards the TB for maximum duration of TB right-clicks.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I swear I see HYDRA are stacking like every single minute all over the place. They're stacking like 3 or 4 camps per minute every time that I'm looking at them. So they definitely took that part of the patch to heart, that you get experience now from the stacks as well. Big impact.
Yeah, it's serious stuff. And Techie's, he's level 10 through a bunch of these ancient camp stacks.
Yeah, stacking ancients is such a massive play for sure.
A little stack being taken out by Kami's Life Stealer.
That's that Radiance building towards a BKB next. If there was any other carry than, you know, an illusion-based carry, this would be where we see Lifestealers love to build the Halberd. It just isn't that good of an item against TB due to the fact that he has all those illusions. A good thing though for him, he's building that BKB. BKB is actually good against Skadi TB now. It blocks the slow. So Terrorblade, while he's going for a Skadi, he won't be able to slow the Lifestealer.
That's pretty handy. It looks
Yeah,
like
it was
HYDRA want to group and smoke.
It was one of the confusing things of the patch that wasn't really listed, I think, anywhere, but I just noticed when I was playing, like, wait, why is this Skadi feeling so useless?
Debuff immunity. I mean, debuff immunity is still something that I'm struggling to like wrap my head around. This new BKB is still new in my head. Hellscream getting run out to the smoke from mid up to top. Should gather them a kill on the Kotl. You can see Warwick was looking for that +1 target. If any stragglers were there trying to save him. But it's the TB laying into Happy now. Malrine thinking about his initiation, doesn't want to jump just on the Enchantress, wants a bigger ticket kill, and instead opts to not go for the fight, kind of realizing HYDRA are all 5 together, and Vazia is pretty distant.
This is a time window for HYDRA, though. They can go for objectives because there's no Metamorphosis available. They're gonna go and steal, I think. They want to steal the Dementor here, Tormentor, sorry. Yeah, it's not Harry Potter. I've been calling it Dementor ever since it came out. It's it's just Dementors for me.
Well, yeah, the kiss of life, right?
Yeah.
It's sucking the souls out of everyone when you get close to it.
It definitely is.
Enchantress down to half HP, but they take it. Aghanim Shard for the techies.
I don't think they fixed the Tormentors yet as well. Instead of doing 70% damage, they do 89% or 87%, and they
really?
And they return the damage type that you deal instead of always magical. It's supposed to be always magical, so that's why Crimson Guard, we saw the Doom use Crimson. It's super good against the Tormentors.
Oh. There's a lot of funny moments around these Tormentors, though. I don't know if you saw Ramsey's dying. Yeah.
I was like, Ramsey's still getting shots for that one. Those impetus.
And it was hilarious.
It's gonna be double Wisdom Rune again for your HYDRA.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, they're on the money with the timings. And it looks like they're readying themselves for their own Tormentor take. They're all gathered there. I think Kotl's Courier on the left side scouted them like the Baron and TPing away. There's no Wisdom Rune there anymore. Rocket Flare will see them around.
I like this. I like this from HYDRA. They're really playing objective-based gaming. Like, so many high-level players nowadays, it's tough. It's really tough to play this map because taking Tormentors, you leave yourself low HP. It's an exposed thing to do. And it's hard to find the timing for when you should do it. But they actually just played for both Tormentors in 21 minutes. They've taken both. And that means Batrider has a shard as well as Techies now.
Yeah, is the Techie shard...
Techie shard is amazing. It's the old Aghanims, basically, that you get as a shard now. You can cast Taser on allies. So he can now give Batrider plus 18% movement speed on level 1 and 30% movement speed when he gets levels from this Taser. And it's also detonation damage and damage when someone hits him. So it's super good against Terrorblade.
Radiant's top tower.
Again, right on top of them. And Nemiga trying to get an objective of their own. They're inside the Roach Pit. Not as quickly as they would have liked. This might give time for HYDRA to get here. And they're not moving fast enough.
They're too far, yeah. They don't want to go for it. They realize that they have to fix lanes after... That's the downside, right? You go for that double Tormentor play. it takes a lot of time and effort to do that. So trying to fix the lanes afterwards became an important thing. And Nemiga, they say, okay, at least we're gonna get Roche and Aegis then. So Aegis now in the hands of Terrorblade, gonna be happy to have that advantage. HYDRA though coming in with a smoke.
Yeah, still feeling very strong. And there's barely anything in it in terms of, kills, net worth difference, very close between the two teams. But like you said during the draft, Radiant very reliant on this Terrorblade. He's the one, the king, up at the top of the net worth. Underlord and Tiny starting to drag behind the pack, of course. So if HYDRA can find their opening on the TB, and through a good bit of vision, maybe a chance to be sent forward, or just a glimpse spotting out a little Underlord. They'll take down Vazia. Plant themselves in a good position here. Go aggressively even deeper with this observable they've got out from the Enchantress.
Some vision. TP's out though. He's gonna TP top and farm. They did see his TP top with their own ward, so now they know they can play bottom and kill anything that stays here. Nemiga, they have to run and hide. They have to get out of this area.
I mean, with that one kill, they've taken out like a third of the map. They can play from mid down to that bottom jungle, bottom right-hand corner.
Hiding.
Oh, so bad at Hellscream, yeah. Standing by the twin gate on the high ground, trying to go through the portal. Cloud won't be able to stop him. It looks like Sobad's going to make his escape.
Oh my god, do you see what happened there? So the cogs stop techies when he's jumping, because blast off, if you get pushed at all during blast off, it stops you. So power cog stopped the blast off from stunning the clockwork, and he can just TP out safely through the gate.
Tower is under attack.
The Kotal very thankful for it as well.
The funny thing is, Dota has this Z-axis, right? It has height. It's an important mechanic. So he was on high ground and put the cogs on high ground. If he was on low ground and put the cogs, it wouldn't probably have stopped the techies, because he would have come in at an angle that allows him to get the blast off. It's really
over the top, yeah.
It's intricate, like almost pointlessly intricate. But yeah, because he was on a cliff and did it, he pushes the techie back.
So many cute little things you can do, huh?
Oh yeah. Dota is interesting like that.
Can't wait for this tech to finish off his Aghanim Scepter. And Lil's going well on his way to the minefield. Even nastier.
Tier 2 tower taken out by Nemiga, so get a little bit of map control there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Even shoving the wave all the way up to tier 3.
Yeah, they want to force them.
There you go. Going up.
Attack.
Walk up the staircase. A lot of damage from the TB, forcing Glyph pretty early on. Down at bottom. Van's getting dived on his tier 3. Yeah, gets out the Fiend's Gate. Avalanche toss onto Kami. Life still doesn't give a damn about the Avalanche toss combo, but in comes the Clockwork with 3-man calls, but now he's stuck inside his own cage. Roaring. He gets the lasso on the Tiny, dragging him across in towards Cloud and Lil, but doesn't get him to low ground, unfortunately, for HYDRA. Violent giving chase with a Skadi slow. Looks like Lil and Cloud making their escape with Infest inside of him. Doom is perfectly fine.
Look at his speed. Oh my god. So speedy when he gets tasered up as well, and he's Scorched Earth. Actually just zooming. He's infested. He has so many speed buffs.
There's no way to catch up to him. So that's another meta use there. Like, okay, what? You took top tier 3 to half HP, but you have to come back and defend. So this Aegis timing is being whittled down by HYDRA making these moves.
It is. They're trying to offset, this by spamming Caudal, like we mentioned during the draft here. They're following the TV with the Caudal, spamming chakras on him to try and get his meta back as fast as possible here, and then go for a fight again with the Aegis. Because right now, 50-second cooldown, 1 minute 14 on the Aegis. But every single chakra here pushing that meta forward a little bit. Maybe they can find one more fight before the 1 minute Aegis timing comes out.
I hope so. He's got quite a lot of damage packed in his inventory. Crystal is done. Silver Edge coming up soon. We're going through the Twin Gate again, heading up top, where Malrine is setting up, watching and waiting for someone to come to the creep wave. He shows himself. Kind of setting a trap on this Tiny. And Lil sees the TB. Yeah. Blast off away. Reflection.
Even if you find him, he's so hard to kill. Like, maybe they can get in there with Tiny now?
Yeah, they're onto him. Catch out the techies, but look at this lasso. Warwick dragging Malrine back to 3. Lil does die, but a huge kill on the Tiny there for them.
This feels so frustrating from the point of Nemiga. They're trying to catch, but they're really elusive on the side of HYDRA. The heroes are so fast and really just playing around. I feel like even though they are the ones with TB, I think they feel stressed. Like, just watching the game, it looks like the game is going more and more in the favor of HYDRA here, and logically speaking, you feel pretty confident when you have a TB going late game, but there's just a lot of tools to deal with him here, and the one thing that I think is missing on the side of HYDRA is that their Doom didn't go for this Octarine, like, greedy farmer build up and become super strong build. So he's not going to be as big of a threat late game as you may have liked, but Lifesteer is having a great game though.
Alright, absolutely is. Fine, coming up from Mjolnir. Maelstrom doing pretty quickly. Just adding in that extra bit of magic damage. You know, TB's getting his armor up. Tiny through that growth. A bit of armor himself. Underlord's always going to be super tanky.
Yeah, I'm thinking if it's the right choice for him to go Mjolnir. I guess it's really good here, but
Dire's
there's the
bottom tower is
worrisome
under
part
attack.
after the Silver Edge, or possibly even Daedalus, it looks like.
I don't want to play into
They
this
have
vision.
great vision. Yeah.
The line is drawn though. Tiny knows that the Horde is coming.
Retreat.
Stand up on top of the high ground. Hold the gate.
Radiant are
Don't
scanning.
let them come.
This is the hard part for
Dire's
HYDRA's
top
lineup. They don't
tower
have
is
someone
under
who can
attack.
just shove the lanes with illusions like that. I guess they can steal them like Enchantress did there. She can try and take the TB illusions and then have something to push. But Nemiga, they can just send violence illusions to push the lanes, and then it's easier to make a smoke gank because the lanes are shoved in. Now Nemiga going forward, looking for a play.
They know there's vision up there. You've got a pretty good idea. A good gem there from Sobat. And now he's giving away the position. Nemiga still going to make a jump. Enchantress getting taken down quickly. Happy. Doesn't last long enough for the Nature's Attendants to heal her up. And now dead for 40 seconds. Bit of a scramble now for HYDRA as their base is about to be under assault.
Yeah, they didn't have to use the meta for that as well as a big thing. So they didn't waste the cooldown early there for that one pickoff. They still have meta ready to go on the high ground.
Well, Lil has axe now. Minefield is about to come out into play, but it's a lasso into an illusion, I guess. I didn't quite see what
Doom
happened.
as well.
Lifesteel's in trouble inside the court. Viscardi slow. Now onto the Doom, changing targets to pick off the Doom.
Oh
Cloud
my.
is gone for 50. Has buyback now, though. Might be able to pop himself into the battlefield once more, but the TF3 needs to be glyphed up. Try and defend against Nemiga's assault. As the techies tossed back in, the minefield was placed, but it doesn't really matter when there's TB destroying your buildings through backdoor protection. Doesn't care. As a new creep wave arrives, catapults here, and the first lane of barracks is going to be going in the way of Nemiga. All the
That was
jumps.
such a disaster.
Another one on the Enchantress. Kami trying to fight back. Minefield's in, munching on Vazia. Facing off against the TB now. Violent dropping low. Ooh, he gets himself away with a 4-staff play. Hurricane Pike saving the day for that TB, and they do defend the range racks top. But a pretty disastrous 30 seconds for HYDRA.
Also a big play by Violent there, doing a selfless sundering his teammate to try and
Dire's
heal
top
there.
barracks are under
But
attack.
yeah, the illusion bait. He just sent up
Dire's
his
top
illusions
barracks is
from Manta along with the Conjure image, and he looked really real, I guess. They went with both the Doom and the Lasso. I mean, it was just 3 illusions. They didn't see any other hero. So I guess they just assumed that it was TB pushing a high ground with the rest smoked behind him, and they thought they could burst him, but that backfired hard. They had to pay for it, lost a full lane of racks there, and now a comfortable lead for Nemiga after that win.
Man, not gonna lie, I missed that. I heard the lasso and I was like, wait, what happened here? Didn't even realize the Doom had been cast. I was looking at Techies. Techies was farming bottom jungle, getting his Aghanim Scepter, TPing back to base. Like, yeah, it's time. Let's go defend. Just a complete whiff out of HYDRA in that fight.
Yeah, a nice thing for his Aghanim Scepter that he has in this game as well is that he puts down the Minefield sign and they have Batrider dragging someone, you know, that can add damage. Flame Break can add damage. They also have 4-staff on the Techies, so we'll see if he can get some good damage from it. Downside though, we talked about this before the game even, you can trigger it with Illusion, the Minefield sign, and then just back out.
Yeah, let's get a little bit. So bad. Invis on this Clockwork. Sees the techies and decides to make the jump straight in. They've got the Feed's Gate to bring more numbers down here. And HYDRA attempting the full retreat into the tree line. Lil stops on his way to try and grab some Lotuses. Not sure if that's what he was intended, but...
Oh, he's dragging him in.
Dragging Tiny across into Kami's lifestealer. Pretty tanky Tiny, though, but speaking up. Forced out the way to safety again, and the TB opening up with a Meta. And the blast off in from Techies, but the Force Staff drifting. Nemiga back to safety. Back and forth between these two teams, and a buyback from Clockwork, looking like they want to extend the fight. Another pit of Malice, catching up on the Cloud and Kami, so bad with the Cogs, but he's going to die back here, the Clockwork, in the middle of so many of them, while the TV and Tiny have blown up the Doom. Now the chase is on, Waga. Lifestealer's in trouble. Spirit Vessel's on him, pops the rage to TP.
Oh, the hook shot!
That's in again! Kami, you can't get through that twist game. Oh my goodness, another one. Lil caught out in the tree line. Malrine and the boys gather around Roshan. This game has swung so quickly.
Oh my god, perfect place to win a fight as well, just right next to the Roach Pit where they get the final kill. And the moment that Doom came out on the Underlord there, you can see the confidence and violence on his TV. He was like, okay, that's it, I am killing everyone. You know, I am not scared of anything anymore because they can't control me. They need to get that Doom onto the TV. They really do, but Doom doesn't have a Lincoln's Break for himself. He's just taking a creep that has Lincoln's Break. And he needs enchant or something to happen to break that so he's allowed to actually target the TV. But now with that Aegis in hand as well, it's going to be such a difficult task to deal with this guy.
Yeah, it's almost as if Techies has to blast off on the TB and, you know, force Staff to pop the Lincolns.
Yeah, but they again have great tools to save him as well. They have that Force Staff from Caudal helping out, Blinding Light to push people away. Nemiga are doing a good job in a team fight, just playing around TB in a nice way.
Yeah, Force and Glimmer on the Clockwork too. So many defensive tools, and that's what you need when you have this kind of full protect one draft. Tiny's taken a backseat in terms of farm priority. 15,000 now, looking much better than he was 5 or 6 minutes ago, thanks to top lane Barracks, a couple of good team play victories. There's a Wisdom Rune for Hellscream, 1400 experience. Juicy stuff for supports.
There's another Wisdom Rune as well, waiting for them back at home. We have one over there. Almost a shame that they didn't store the Wisdom Rune that was back at base.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Waiting for the
attack.
next spawn, of course. TV just gonna solo the Tormentor here.
Has fallen.
Academ's Shard for Clockwork. Very useful tool for him.
How many times we've seen him like trap himself in the cogs, like 3 or 4 enemy heroes, and just wishing he had a way out.
Yeah, how he can fly after the Batrider when they're fire flying, so we can have an aerial pursuit.
What's it called? Is it a dogfight? It is, right? When you got 2 fighter
Spider
planes?
jets, right? Yeah, that's dogfight.
A
Yeah.
dogfight, yeah. No idea why.
Yeah, not everything makes sense.
Planes are birds, not dogs.
Yeah.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
There's probably some historical reason for that, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to get into that now.
Chat, teach us. Enlighten
Someone
us.
got Wikipedia it. Someone please should read the first paragraph from the Wikipedia entry for dogfight. Actually, maybe don't.
So right now, I think they're taking a little bit of breathing room here on the side of Nemiga. They do have 245 for their Aegis timeout, but they have a few big items that they're working towards. They got the Shadowblade now on Tiny. They have Clockwork working on Aghanim, so I don't think they can finish that before this Aegis times out, though. They're gonna have to make a play before then. But also Underlord is going towards, looks like an Octarine for at this point. He has a lot of actives, so makes a lot of sense for him to get this.
Yeah, I saw him earlier, had queued up the Nullifier. But yeah, switching up the Octarine. I was wondering what the Nullifier would have been for. There's no Ghost Scepter or anything?
Yeah, I mean, it can dispel like Crimson Guard. It can be decent for that. And removing the Taser is also huge. So it makes some sense, because if you remove Taser, then TB can right-click. When Taser is up on someone, they actually can't be focused by TB. He has to just stop hitting them. But I don't think it's a big problem for them. I like this idea better, to just get higher uptime on all your other tools. You see, of course, 1 minute 30. They should be starting to make their way over to the enemy base. Smoke out from HYDRA, though.
Hey, they want to make something happen here. And again, it's a good idea to play into your vision. You want to be protecting these wards at the very least. Even if you don't find someone. Make your supports happy in your pubs. Play towards vision.
Yeah.
Mines placed on high ground too, but it looks like, as you said, Nemiga just waltzing towards enemy high ground, prepping themselves for a push to tier 3.
Yeah, they want to force this fight. You know that they're going to force the fight before they Aegis is out. It's such a big advantage to have this extra lifeline on the TB. And he can pretty much go in alone and have everyone else just sit behind.
I'm not feeling bold enough to walk straight up there.
Yeah,
2 TB illusions dueling in the mid lane. The Enchantress illusion was winning
big
that
showdown.
fight. Yeah, until the Cottle ruins the mood. No longer a straight 1v1.
They look like they want to break through top, maybe? Very hesitant about going high ground here on mid. Not much time on the Aegis. Oh, they see Lifestealer. That could be huge.
Oh, if they can find him. They see him. Kami has double debuff immunity though with his rage and then the BKB if he needs it. Marine biding his time to wait. Oh, great hook shot. So bad in on 2 of them. 4 step out of the cogs by the back. So they are focusing right to get over the Doom. It goes in onto the Tiny. A bit of a disengage now from the rest of Nemiga. But that Bat Rider dropping low as Vazia gets himself away with a glimmer of force, but the radius burn is there. Kami finishes the job, and Aegis is gone. Violent in trouble. In front of play, the damage coming. TV's dead. They got the control perfectly timed, and HYDRA hold their base.
That was such a good job by the support overall, focusing down the TB before, prepping his HP. We see Nemiga fighting might not be over as Marine thinks about sticking around, but I think he's having a better idea of just getting out now. This Lifestealer, you don't want to fight him without TB.
Yeah, we can see that hesitation. You were saying they should kind of just be forcing the issue here. They waited it out, and that gave a real great window to HYDRA.
He got in a very awkward spot where TB was exposed to the Enchantress, who's now being targeted by Marine. Tries to kill him. Does get him. That was such a slow Shadow Blade attack, but he was patiently waiting for it to land so he could do his combo and then get the kill with the tree throw as well. Nice burst. But yeah, the Ench with her impetus is a lot of damage into TB if she's ignored.
He went for the 45 damage talent as well, just to ramp things up a little further.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It does something, but again, against TB, it's almost all the impetus damage doing anything, because he's already sitting at 36 armor, so he's mitigating most of it. But yeah, she's doing her thing, you know, showing that level 30 prowess, of course, Enchantress spammer.
Well, it's just interesting to me to see these talent choices, because I know it's been a topic with some of my other co-casters where we've looked at this Enchantress and players like Celery and Snaking very often just go for the heal talents and the tankiness talents, right? Then you have someone like Tiger who is like always going for damage talents. You know? There's that big difference in kind of players.
I mean, players in Dota can be so different even on the same hero. Like, a lot of heroes can be played in many different ways and functionality. And that's just one little nuance that you can see. It's so much the personality of the player and how they enjoy playing the game, how they, you know, thrive. And
it's like there's no wrong answer.
Not really, no. It's just what do you want to lean into. And sometimes it can be game specific, you know. Maybe he takes 45 damage here, but in a different game, perhaps he feels like he needs more healing. But I think this is probably the more fun choice for me. The right click feel like a core player, you know. A core player would always take damage.
I've got my Hurricane Pike. I'm scaling. I'm core Enchantress now. Yeah, it's very much in both situations. You know, the players will be like, "It's free damage" or "It's free heal." You know,
as we're exhausting the Enchantress topic a little bit, I'll get this in as well for anyone who may have been watching and been curious why Enchantress doesn't just kill the Tormentors her own. Now, they actually nerfed that. No matter how far away you are from the Tormentors now, if you deal damage to it, you will take damage as well. So you can no longer do the Hurricane Pike play. Well, you can, but you die. You can definitely kill the Tormentor, but for Ench, it would be a one-way ticket.
It's like the difference between you can still abuse it, but you can no longer exploit it.
Yeah. A life for a life.
Yeah. The trade for everything. Cloud. He was straight in there. Kami thinking about following the Doom forward. Aghanim's Rocket Flare giving a lot of vision here to Nemiga to try and set up for this fight. Scouting in the tree line. They can see absolutely everything.
It's so annoying to play into. You actually take quite a bit of damage as well from just all those rockets. So, be intimidating.
A minefield. Don't walk in there, boys. They're wrapping around. All the way behind.
But they're ignoring them and they're just going up high instead, taking control of the enemy base. This smoke play is not going to work out for HYDRA. They're just completely being outpositioned here by Nemiga, who just say, we're just going to go for your base. You have to scramble to get over there now. TB will make short work of this base if you don't get there fast.
Dire's middle tower is
I
under
think they saw the
attack.
smoke coming. They very least saw the Batrider dewarding. And Nemiga on the doorstep, forcing another glyph on the high ground of HYDRA. Not a bad
scouting
position
with
here,
illusion.
though, for the lifesteal. But yeah, you're right. TB illusion season coming
And the
straight towards
rocket.
them.
Dire's middle tower is
Non-stop.
under attack.
Lasso's there. Lorik on the tiny. Difficult hero to burst down, though. Malin gets off his BKB. Now doomed up. As Sobat went backlines, but he'll come to an end quickly. Terrorblade did pop the Metamorphosis, but they need to reposition and rethink how they want to hold out in this fight. Down a hero, and Clockwork did die back previously. So no buyback for him right now.
I think HYDRA are happy to wait here. They know that meta is ticking, right? They forced the meta. It's now
Dire's
ticking
middle
down
tower
on
is
duration.
under
So
attack.
instead of pursuing, I like the control by HYDRA, not just blindly rushing in for this fight. Because they did also expend their Doom and their Lasso, so you don't have to just brute force
Dire's
this.
middle tower is under
Oh,
attack.
hell yeah. Aghanim, Scepter, Enchantress. It's Sproinkin time.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Incredibly good stuff. TV's a little isolated on the high ground right now. Load of thoughts on him. Down to half HP. Lassoed up, controlled, and dead. Violent didn't get a chance to cast a single spell. Underlord will TP home. Tiny trying the same thing. And there's no further control. But again, a hero dead for another 70 seconds is a huge moment here for HYDRA to get across the river.
Yeah, and there we see the value again of the minus cooldown on Flaming Lasso talent. Very popular among Batrider pickers right now, this CDR talent. And he's even queuing up the Octarine core now on Batrider, so he wants even less cooldown on it. And the danger that we were, concerned a little bit all in on TV can be risky when we see them just jump him like that with every single hero piling onto him.
Man, they've got plenty of scaling. And that's Doom with a Devour and Midas. Tons of money. Still eyeing up the Octarine core. He can disassemble his arcane boots, get there a little bit faster. And he actually has it, yeah. He actually just straight up has it.
It's always confusing, like, when is Octarine complete nowadays? So you look like, oh, he has a Vanguard and Mana Boots? Well, he almost has an entire Octarine.
He's basically done. Warwick trading BKBs out here and lassoing and dooming the Tiny. Kami with his Nullify, going to slow him to a crawl, and Malrine dead up in his top lane as they hunt for Hellscream.
Oh boy.
Keeper of the light, no chance to escape. And this
has a
game
gem
has
too.
flipped back and forth over the past 20 minutes. It was looking good for Nemiga until HYDRA hold their own.
HYDRA is back in force now. I mean, they got some nice initiations. It's either they get a really nice jump or they don't, right? It's very much hinging on the Batrider and the Doom. We saw the fail where they jumped on the Illusion, then everything just backfires because you need to get value out of these big ultis. But the last three fights, they've been on point. They found the initiations. They're dooming Tiny almost always, and I really love that choice. He's probably the best target because TD, you have to go through Lincolns. It's hard to coordinate. Better to just get rid of a pos 2 hero. Clockwork. Gonna scout out techies here. Rockets.
Yeah, Lil getting hookshotted on. Let's see if they can save the techies from the cage he's trapped in. Doom jumps in with a life throw in fence bomb, and they're aiming for Violent, forcing out the BKB,
Lasso's
the
coming.
Manta, and the Lasso is being lined up, but they go for the Underlord. Trying to drag away Vazio as they focus separate targets. The Underlord, I mean, he was tanky until his impetus shots landed to the back of his head, and the focus shifts
TB's
again.
all alone.
Off to another target. The TB getting a lot of damage in onto Cloud. The Force Staff and Hurricane quite a bit of distance here, but Violent is dead with no Sunder available. HYDRA clear through another 3 heroes.
And back
Things are
towards
getting
Roche
messy
they
now.
go. This is just such strong fighting here from HYDRA, and you can really see that there's the difference in draft where every single hero becomes a threat in some way on HYDRA's lineup. The Enchantress is doing a ton of damage in these fights as well. It's not just Lifestealer carrying them, right? Yeah, he did most of the damage, but Engine still did 3,500 damage herself, and that's very targeted single target burst damage with that impetus spam.
It's like TB wishes he could buy a new spell, just buy Medusa's multi-shot. Get the split arrows to try and hit everybody.
By her
Just can't
mana
hit-
shield.
Yeah, he can't hit enough targets. He can't tank enough through all this
Can you
damage
imagine?
from Hydra.
TB illusions with mana shields.
Oh god, please. Why did I say anything? I should shut my mouth sometime.
Ice Frog is listening.
You know, I think he is, you know. Oh, Warwick.
top tower
Oh, this
is
tiny packs a punch, but he can't finish the job. Oh, Malrain's going to get turned on now. Whoa, Warwick, don't hit that Tormentor. Nearly died to it. Does force the BKB out of the tiny now. Cocktail in the vicinity. Hellscream might just pop a force staff, try and get him away from here. Nah, I'm just going to ditch him. Leave
After
Tiny to
Nullifier.
die.
He
They've got
knows
plenty.
Nullifier and Lifestealer as well, so can't even save him if he wanted to there. Not gonna be able to, and that was the difference between living or not. Was all down to the neutral item. Trickster's Cloak is so good. This neutral item has a very dear place in my heart. I think it's amazing. 20% magic resist, 20% evasion, and you get to go Invis. That Invis just saved his life.
That's incredible. Warwick holding to a refresher shot still. They found another one. So bad has the hook shot defensively. Long range infinite shot. Luckily, capped damage, so it doesn't just insta-kill him.
I have a
Radiant's bottom
refresher
tower is
shard
under
currently
attack.
on Batrider's backpack. I guess they probably want that more than they want the refresher on the Doom right now, even though that's what he wants to buy as the next item as well. The Doom naturally would love to have refresh, but Batrider, double BT, double lasso. Pretty potent.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Tiny gets
has
himself
fallen.
the Aghanim shard. And
Oh.
in this kind of game, why is Tiny not going for the Aghanim scepter?
Bottom tower is under
I'm
attack.
confused by it, honestly. I don't know why. I guess he feels like he needs more utility than all-in damage. Like TP is supposed to be the big carry after all.
Okay.
That's the reasoning that I can see.
Still has 3 minutes on Aegis, so no fear. Diving tier 3s here. Vazia getting force staffed all over the place, but still hounded down, hunted, but not finished off. Gets under his tier 4s safely for now. And the Aegis is claimed up. Doom is in onto Malrain, trying to control this Tiny. Taking a lot of HP off him, but the Terrorblade has been allowed to stand his ground and fight. So this means that Hydra have got to start retreating. A Spoiling from Happy doesn't get in the distance he needed. Slowed to a crawl by the Solar Vine and killed off. Nemiga defend their base this time around.
Hydra had to get out. The reason they had to disengage that fight is simply one thing. They didn't have mana on Batrider. Like, he was just completely out of mana. He still is. He's gonna find a regen on top, so that's gonna solve that problem. But during the fight, he had lasso ready, he had a lot of tools ready, but just didn't have enough mana to use it there. And he has 9,000 gold? What the?
So he does, yeah.
That's a rich Batrider. 9,000 gold, he's about to buy the full Octarine and keep buyback gold available as well. So that should at least save his mana problem a little bit.
Wild.
Shard for Doom from the Tormentor now as well.
Yeah, the Aghanim Scepter. Oh, okay, Tiny is buying Aghanim Scepter. He's pretty much purchased the whole thing, I think.
I like the
Yes.
idea, though, of going Aghanim Scepter kind of delayed like this, because here's the thing. If you buy Aghanims early, it doesn't do much until you have Daedalus anyway, right? So instead of going for that, and you don't really want to go Daedalus first, because what's that gonna do? So he goes for a Silver Edge, which is more of a fighting, find the enemy. Maybe he can break the Enchantress and actually click her down really fast with it. You know, it has a lot of usefulness here. And then the Aghanim is still gonna be pretty good when it's complete. Now he has, 450 base damage at this point. So I kind of like the build order, the more I think about it.
Yeah, and I guess also an indication of how his game was going. Thinking back to 20 minutes in, he was 5th net worth, not looking too hot, like sub 10k net worth, 20 odd minutes in. And going for the Echo Saber and then the Silver Edge all made a lot of sense just to kind of get himself back in the game, tank
Yep.
up a little bit more.
Batrider has been splurging now. He's got level 2 travels and that Octarine complete, so he's getting kind of strong. And with that 25 talent, by the way, it is one of the strongest late game bursts that you can see in Dota. It's very, very dangerous. We might see an action now. He's gonna travel to his friends.
Yeah, straight onto the clockwork. So bad disappears. Buyback's available for him. We'll see what Hydra decide to do off the back of that kill. There's no Roshan to take. There's no Tormentors or Wisdom Runes or anything like that. I've got to start relearning my 7 times tables. When's the next Wisdom Rune coming? Like 49 and then 56?
It is, yeah, 56 is the next
Yeah.
one. Yeah, the late ones, are
That's a bit-
trickier because you don't get there that often. The early ones, you get very used to it, but...
It's like 7, 14, 21, 28, and then,
And the 60, 63 minutes. Yep. I haven't
start
really
counting
had many
back.
games go this late, honestly. This is a long game. On the new patch, most of my games are done
Radiant's
pretty early.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, two very closely matched teams. This net worth lead, I think this is the largest we've had so far this match.
Yeah, and honestly, it feels like net worth is, you know, it's a part of it, but it's all about initiation this game. And sadly for the side of Nemiga, their initiation is really underwhelming, right? If Tiny goes in first too hard, then they just doom him. They don't want to show Tiny first. He can't really go first. There has to be like clockwork initiating if it's Nemiga initiating. And it can be tricky for them to get the right pick off. Whereas the side of HYDRA, I think they have an easier time with both Doom or Batrider flying in with Lasso being viable ways to start the fight.
Yeah, because things have changed over the past even 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Previously, Underlord could kind of walk in and use his body as a bait. Now he's not unkillable by any means, and the jump in there from the Doom, like you said,
Tiny
just flies
Doom.
straight in onto the Tiny to Doom him up. So bad with some decent cogs, trapping him inside, but the Battle Rider has found Malrine on the left-hand side, and the TV, he's in the middle of them all. I don't know if he forced himself in, but he's standing tall, whacking into Kami, killed off Cloud, Live still on TV, and it won't be one of the infecting the techies though. Gets him out of danger while the Sunder's back. Almost full HP once more, but Kami life-stealing, munching away at the Terrorblade and finishing him off. Buybacks available,
God, that
no
techie
metamorphosis. The HYDRA side come out swinging that immediate jump and catch as they dive tier 4s looking for the Kotl. They won't find him too deep though.
What a fight. What an absurd fight. Lifestealer was doing some serious clicking, but Techies did immense damage there with his Agadons. He did 6,000 damage in that fight, almost as much as the Terrorblade did.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack. Radiant's
That's big stuff.
fortified.
That is disaster for them, though. They have buyback on TD, but what does it even mean here?
I mean, Kotl is getting lassoed into a blast off. No buybacks really to be seen from Nemiga.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him call it almost here, because they're gonna buy back TB and try to force him away. But every single hero is still alive. They have a pressure on Doom, and his Doom is coming off cooldown here. I don't see any stop to this.
Yeah, at least they're cancelling blinks with rocket flares, but even that's going to come to an end shortly.
Are under attack.
They have to at least forfeit mid-racks. They have Tiny coming up soon, but 40 seconds for the Underlord, 55 for the Coddle.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
They
attack.
may have to
Tons of
just
time.
Has fallen.
try and play against Megas here. I don't know if they can test this at all. Yeah.
Has fallen.
Let the buildings fall.
Radiant's bottom.
Let it all fall,
Radiant.
and we'll see if HYDRA want to back. Obviously, they have a ton of gold now from taking all the lanes of racks. Or if they're just going to back out and chill here instead of trying to end immediately.
Well, there's one range rack still up at top, so it's not
That's true.
Matrix just yet.
Yeah, they're going in for it.
The range creep sent forward. The recon man. The tree volley.
Radiant's top
Fair bit of damage there, but
With
Radiant base now in tatters. Just under 2 minutes for next Roshan, so still a little bit of time here for Nemiga to clear waves, get into a spot where maybe they can contest, but definitely not
The
looking good for them
timetables.
now.
The timetables, Gareth.
Ah,
it's
yeah,
time.
56.
They,
It's time.
they haven't thought about it. The players, they're backing out from the top one.
It's definitely one of the, like, you have to be thinking about it like 4 minutes prior to when it's happening.
So you have time to do your calculations.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like
in
chess
all
you gotta be
honesty,
thinking about.
Yeah, you need to move there, you know, ahead of time usually. But of course, right now, all they can think about is Roach when it's gonna spawn. It could already have spawned, but it's gonna spawn in 58 seconds from now. Or 68 seconds from now. Tiny coming in. Gets spotted by the mines. Nice little defense system here around the Roach pits. He's set them up in a way that they literally act as just sound warnings. You see the way he placed his mines all around? There's no way in without revealing it. Even if you're smoked, you're not gonna sneak your way into that Roach pit.
No entry. I mean, TB running out of slots seriously now. Lincolns and Manta and Scardy are all being swapped in and out of backpack.
Backpack Manta, yeah. He's working hard here, working his hardest to try and get max value. Surprised we're not seeing the Swift Blink here in this full gear cap. It is a very useful item as well for TB, but I understand the reasoning he has for all the items he's gone for. All of them are definitely good here.
Oh, look at Warwick.
Oh, this
The
could be big.
Wisdom Rune. He takes it.
Spotted.
He is tossed up, half HP. They get the turn on Malrine. Cogs are there, but they don't defend the Tiny. He's gone for a minute and a half, and now Valzia is in serious danger. Stunned up by the Doom's War Stomp. And again, we have the situation where you're down 2 heroes, no buybacks available. Even if they were off cooldown, they don't have the money for it. And they're in the base again. Warwick pops his BKB and was aggressive on Violent. Cloud wants in, the Nullifier bounced back. Lotusaur protecting the Terrorblade, but Hellscream spent everything to save Violent, who still gets doomed in the end. Hiding and cowering inside his fountain. Lil and Warwick running forward, the Cogs trapping Clockwork in a cagey design himself. 4 heroes down, and GG is called. They tap out in game 1.
Yeah, they're gonna call it right there, and that was just a lot of really strong team fights from HYDRA. They had that one fight where they slipped up a lot, going on the illusion, but even then, they mitigated the losses. They lost 1 lane of racks from it, but they didn't lose full control on the game. And they worked their way back into this. The team fights just looked really clean. A lot of times, it looked impossible for Nemiga, like how... I was watching from Terrorblade's perspective, trying to see how he can carry this, but there were way too many issues. He was getting impetus from Enchantress, Techies was planting bombs and dropping down the Aghanims, and meanwhile you have both Doom and Lasso to deal with, and then of course this Lifestealer. Everybody was such an annoyance for this TB, and he could not do what he wanted to do, and hard carrying this seemed like an impossible task.
Yeah, it really was a massive challenge for Violent in that game. And the question I posed at the end of the draft with the weight of the world on Tiny's shoulders, it seemed like a very difficult game for Malrine, even though the first, 6-7 minutes of laning stage went pretty exceptionally well for him. It's always a difficulty you have when you set yourselves up in a draft in a full protect 1 like this. All of your, the 4 players who are grouped up need to be ganking, roaming, making space, making things happen. And sure, So Bad on the Clockwork did a pretty tremendous job of that. You get to a point where you hit this brick wall of, we need to end the game or we're going to lose to this. It's not just a trio core, right? We have 5 cores on HYDRA who are outscaling you, kinda?
Yeah, they definitely all, pulled their own weight and then some towards the later stages there. And yeah, I think they probably need to go back to the drafting table a little bit and think here in Nemiga, because they ended up having a very tough spot to play, even though I think a lot of the times here they did, outplay HYDRA in a lot of the fight early on. But it just became insurmountable at some point. They could not really deal with all the threats that were there. And I think mainly that comes down to a drafting issue, which can be good and can be bad after a game 1, You rather would have it be a drafting issue than be outplayed, I feel, because at least then you can be like, you know what, if we get the right cards, we'll beat them. But we'll see how they adapt going into the next one.
It's like, we need another vision hero, another way to catch people, something like that. Maybe think about Malrine's 1v1 mid matchup, because that has been another topic of the most recent patches, is that mid lane is pretty much on an island. You want to try and get the best matchup you possibly can there. But yeah, HYDRA taking game 1 here in this best of 3. We'll have a quick break and find out what happens next.